Hi everyone, I'm Eva Klein. I'm the owner and founder of My Sleeping Baby, and today is Sleep Tip Tuesday. So I want to address a really great question that I got from a mom in the group just recently in response to the question that I addressed last week. And I think that it piggybacks really well off of what we discussed last week. So last week I addressed a very common question that I get from parents all the time. And the question is it too late to sleep train your baby or child? Did you miss the boat, and are you stuck with these poor habits for all of eternity? And the answer is no. It's never too late, that you can always make changes to your child's sleep. It just might be a little bit trickier and take you longer as your child gets older. So a mom in the group asked me a really great question. She wanted to know if sleeping through the night is something simply developmental, if it's a developmental milestone that all children will eventually reach. And the answer to that question is no. Sleeping through the night is not a developmental milestone. Let me give you examples of things that are developmental milestones. So learning how to roll, learning how to sit up, learning how to stand up, learning how to crawl, learning how to walk, although some kids just skip crawling and go straight to walking, but you get my drift. Learning how to talk, learning how to read, learning how to play with other kids. These are all usually very age-specific developmental milestones. Sleeping through the night without food is a developmental milestone, which the medical community concludes that your average healthy 6-month-old baby can do, as long as daytime nutrition is optimal. I'm a little bit more conservative. I like to say somewhere between 6 to 8 months, assuming the baby is eating solid food appropriately. But you know, I'll tell you that there are some babies that learn how to sleep through the night organically from a very, very young age. I mean, gosh, my older daughter, by the time she was 4, 5, 6 weeks of age or so, she was sleeping 8 to 10 hours straight every single night. I didn't tell any of my friends because I did not want to get punched in the face, but that was the sleep that I was getting from her from just a few weeks onwards. Whereas there are many other children that are not sleeping through the night anywhere near that age. In fact, they're not organically sleeping through the night until they're much, much older, until 4, 5, 6 years old, maybe even older than that. And that's because sleep is a skill that comes more naturally to some babies and children than it does to others. Now, does that mean that if you have a child who still doesn't get it, that there's nothing you can do? No, of course not. Because if your baby or child is still waking at night, then chances are it's because of something to do with their sleep habits that we can change. So perhaps there's a problem with the scheduling. Maybe the child's overtired. Maybe the child has some sleep associations or sleep props, something that they rely on to fall asleep and rely on to fall back asleep. Perhaps, so that would fall under something behavioral or habitual. Perhaps there is something nutritive that we can address that's going on during the day that's impacting nighttime sleep. Perhaps there's an issue that pertains to emotional well-being that's causing all sorts of nighttime issues. Perhaps the baby or child is very overtired because the daytime schedule is off. All of these examples fall under the umbrella term called sleep habits. And sleep habits are something that can be changed regardless of how old the child is. Of course, if you have a newborn baby, this doesn't apply. I'm talking about babies, you know, past the age of 4 to 6 months of age, where we can be making these changes, where the reason why your child's waking up is not something developmental. It's because of either one of those things I just mentioned, or many of them, or all of the above. But that's the good news here, is that, piggybacking on what I said last week, it's never too late to make changes. And if you are falling on your face exhausted, you don't need to wait for that magical day to come that your child decides to sleep through, because it might not happen for a while, because it's not a developmental milestone. As I said, developmental milestones include learning how to walk, learning how to talk, learning how to play, learning different colors, learning different animal noises, right? These are all examples of age-appropriate developmental milestones, and sleeping through the night is not one of them. I hope this was helpful. Have a wonderful day, everyone.